Today we're going to do something of a continuation to the last video about the importance of beating your kids, and we're going to do a little case study with a controversial figure, that is Joseph Walter Jackson. Joe Jackson, patriarch, father of 10, hard worker, former boxer. Also, a philandering husband, love child fatherer, and most notably, the manager to the most successful music dynasty of all time, the first family of music. Now that we have an idea of what Joseph was, let's do something of a deep dive into who he was. A black father and former musician who was born in the 20s and had to raise and provide for their kids with for his kids with Catherine in the 50s and 60s. It's been stated a myriad of times that he wanted to be a musician himself but never attained, so then he lives on his fantasies through his children, which is just a jerk move if we're being honest, because like, why would you, I don't know, force people into a career that they didn't want to do just because you didn't find success into it? That's like the key trait of a narcissist parent. But like, you know, given what he gave us, I can't really be mad at the guy. Cannot. So given all that, when you hear that apparently every time somebody made a mistake, he would beat them silly or or chase them around, like some of the stories go hard. Like when you hear the way that he put them into shape, you realize that, hey, actually this is making them strive for perfection, and it's making them more conscious of the way that they are dancing and singing, and they will be more motivated to put on a good show. So it's hard to fault that. It like, that's basic conditioning. Like I talked about, you associate a bad action with a punishment, so you'll be more encouraged to do the right thing. But you could also argue that he wanted to see them to see success, and what kind of parent doesn't want their kids to see success, which is why they had such a strict training, dancing, and practice regimen. And also, when he did lose his temper, when the kids maybe screwed up the dance moves or the vocals, you guys have to remember, they were the Jacksons sometimes barely scraped by, and Joseph probably saw the music thing as a way to get to help to support the family, and like he wanted everything to be perfect, so maybe he needed the kids to do everything right. And when he sees a mistake, he says, no, you're gonna ruin everything, this is our last shot. So I can understand that kind of panic. I never understood why people were so sensitive about it when Michael himself credited the way that they were disciplined to make him a better performer. And come on, the Jackson 5, they were one of the best acts of all time. He's Michael Jackson, so like, put some respect on JoJo's name. And now I think it's time that we get into the nature of the practice that they did. As I had said before, hitting your children with a belt is commonplace. Like that's a basic tool for putting them on the right path. And plus, he's black. Come on, and it's the 50s. How do you expect him not to hit his kids with a belt? So that one is it's ruled out as abuse. When the king of pop had said that he would sometimes lose his temper and throw the kids against the wall, I couldn't excuse that because, like I had mentioned in the other video, abuse is when you're straight up injuring the kid. So you are putting the kids at the risk of like breaking a bone when you thrust them at the wall. He would apparently hit them with iron cords. Like, yeah, those ones do hurt. They do hurt, but I don't know the extent to which they are I don't know the extent to which they are a dangerous tool, so I'm gonna have to hold off on that one. I would have to say it's not really abuse.
Never really.
Janet states that the stuff regarding the abuse wasn't true and they were just strict. And Joe even denies beating his kids and he says that they were disciplining them. And you know what? At that point, you can't just say Janet or Joe are lying because you don't know what happened. You weren't there. She was there. He was there. They lived through that period and they lived in their family home. So imagine a bunch of strangers on YouTube telling you what did and didn't happen in your family. Some people need to think before they talk. Now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of the allegations. And of course, I am talking about LaToya Jackson. This girl, I love this girl so much. She just says anything and everything that she wants. She sends me. I can't with her. I love LaToya so much. Like, have you ever seen somebody whose main mission is to desecrate their family in every way? She's a wild child. But anyway, these allegations about the abuse, like, if Michael's allegations were said, then hers were just downright jaw-dropping. The girl stated that he would burn their toes, punch them down the stairs, lock her in the bathroom, and no one was allowed to talk to her, and then she would just remain there after she tried to leave. But the worst one of all is that can I say this on YouTube? He took advantage of her and Rebe. That is absolutely insane and unforgivable. If that is true, I'm gonna be like, nah, Joseph, you dead wrong for that. You was a creep. Yuck. Now I'm mad, real mad, Joe Jackson. Now, I know that I had said that I respected LaToya for taking the stance that she did to call out the abuse she faced. But that was until she folded. Like, girl, how do you go from, my father is sick in the head, my father did this to me, my father touched me, my father would burn us, to now, I see why he disciplined us, and my father is a wonderful man. Like, girl, get out of here with all of that forgiveness rhetoric. You were just slandering him and his wife 2 minutes ago. Now you respect him? So some time passes and in the Jackson household, and JoJo has fathered a love child. But anyway, so after cheating on his wife and giving birth to a new kid named Javon, he allegedly gave Javon special treatment by allowing her to call him dad, which is Like, I didn't get why the Jackson kids wanted to call him dad so bad. Like, what's wrong with Joseph? That's his name. Like, I know it's weird, but still, it's not that bad. And apparently, she got to hug him, and the other kids never got to hug him, so I can see why there was some jealousy for the one who is often referred to as the bastard child. According to Javon, Mike was actually an arrogant one, and the whole pacifist, shy guy thing was an act. And I can believe that he was a shy guy, but the arrogance thing, I also can believe it because him during the Thriller era, he had a big head, the biggest head ever. Like, he literally said, I'm not gonna beg for these magazines. They will call me. Maybe I'll pick up. Maybe I won't. That's not being arrogant. That's confidence. But, like, did you see how he got when the Off the Wall album only got 2 measly Grammy nominations and sold 20 million copies? Aw, poor baby. The music industry is going broke and disco is dying, but your album selling 20 million copies? Yeah, woe is you at that point. So, in Mike's book, Moonwalk, he often talks about how withdrawn he was. They would be sitting together as a family, and he would leave the room, and that we are just the onlookers. We don't know what went down. We don't know what each party went through, but from a kid's perspective, you would feel incomplete. You would wonder why your parent doesn't want to be around you, and you would feel empty inside. So I can see why there is a negative perception on Joe. Alright, finally, can we stop shaming black parents for punishing their kids when they do wrong? Can we stop that? Can we stop trying to villainize black people every single chance we get? People who do that don't discipline their kids and they become entitled brats. So, can we just also stop being sensitive? Like, parents insult their kids all the time when they do bad. They don't mean it, it's just the anger talking. Good night, everybody!